identifying Japanese, Chinese, and other foreign maker marks. Hey vintage resellers, this is Tim with Hex Treasures. I wanted to make this video to share with you guys a useful tool that I have developed along the way for researching and identifying your foreign maker mark, antique, and vintage items. So for instance, I have a couple here. Here's going to be a blue Japanese vase made in Japan. And then set that there. Here we're going to have a unmarked, very generic teapot. You can see made in China. And then here we've got just a saucer, small dish. Again, another made in China with the maker mark there. And what I used to do was I had a couple reliable sites I would go to that had pretty much a history of the Chinese and Japanese maker marks. Spend 20-30 minutes scrolling through the list trying to find it. Sometimes I could, sometimes I couldn't. A lot of times these with these intricate letters, they all look different, even though they all say the same thing. The difference between like me and you writing the word "the" could look completely different, and with all the intricacies in these letters, they do end up looking different, so it's hard to tell all the time. So what I ended up doing was I downloaded an app. I believe it was Google Translate on my phone. I then took the time to take some pictures and to try and translate through the app. Doesn't always work, but when it does, it really helps out. I was able to get a word on the very first one I did. It was a vintage teacup and saucer. It was Japanese. It had geishas drawn on it, hand painted, very ornate, but I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. Couldn't find anything. And I was able to come up with the word Dai, D-A-I, and then Japan. So after doing that, I went back to my site and I clicked on the Find On page. I searched the page for Dai, and I came up with about 4 different options. And I was able to match it up with my maker's mark. And I found out it was from 1914 to pre-1914, from the Dai Nippon era in Japan. And based on that, I was able to then go ahead and accurately list my item, describe it properly for my buyers, my potential buyers, and we ended up making the sale, I'd say a month and a half, 2 months later, on the item that we had been sitting on for a while because it was improperly labeled. So let me go ahead and switch this off. I'm going to start recording my screen, the steps to go through, and how this can help you with your research into identifying your antique and vintage items. One of the first things you're going to need is going to be a translating app. I use Google Translate. If you're on a PC, there are websites that you can use, such as, I believe Google Translate's the website as well. If you look for online photo translator, picture translator, you'll be able to find it. So I'm going to go ahead and click into my Translate app. Here you can see I'm already set up for Japanese to English. I'll go back to where you can see what to do. So in here, Google Translate, you're going to want to click on camera. Up here, you can see where you can change your languages. Unfortunately, detect language won't work with a picture, so I know this one's going to be Japanese, so I'm going to go ahead and click Japanese. Open up the camera. I'm going to go ahead and grab my blue vase and take a look at it. Here, let's see. Down here where I just clicked, you can see that there's a little lightning bolt. That's for your flash. I'll go ahead and align the text the best I can and take the photo. So, move that out of the way. All right, so now it's going to scan. Let's see what happens. See, it's saying no Japanese text found. This is one of the ones I knew there was going to be an issue with. You see the character on the bottom left with the 4 circles around it. Those are supposed to be squares, not circles. That actually says vessel. That's a word that I've run across before, and I'll show you. This is another kind of interesting feature of this is it says handwriting right there next to camera where I just clicked into. And you see right there, the third one down where it already has vessel pulled in. But if you go ahead and you draw, just like you saw with the 2 circles and the bridge here, going across with 2 circles at the bottom, it's going to bring in the closest related choice, which is vessel, and that is going to be correct. I'm not seeing the proper choice in here for any of these. It's basically saying that this is a vase. That's all that's really here. That top, the top character in here I've seen before too. I believe it says vase. It's basically saying it's a vessel vase. There's not a lot of information there. Nothing we can figure out with this one. Like I said, this isn't a be-all, end-all. This is just a tool to help. Doesn't always work, but when it does, it definitely becomes useful. So I'm going to change from Japanese to Chinese here. Let me stop that. It's trying to download it for offline. All right. Go ahead and go back to the camera. Now we're going to go ahead and take our plate. With the plate, we're going to align the text there. And I know from experience, from seeing this before, that the first word on there is actually China. It's Chinese for China. And see how it went ahead and it brought everything in? And all you do is you click into the area. It's going to translate. It says China. The next one is going to be Jingdingzhong. And so that is a maker. That's going to be what you're going to look for. So we can go ahead and now click right there into it. It'll let you hear it if you want. Jingdezhen, excuse me. So we'll go ahead and we will, right here where you see the 2 squares inside of each other, the blue box you've got here down to the bottom right. If you click that, it'll copy the translation to your clipboard. You can go out, go into your eBay app, go ahead and search up top. So go ahead, paste that in there, and then type in saucer, and it's going to go ahead and pull up comps for you, comparables that you can look through to see if you can find yours or not. Saucer, maybe, not saucet. That could be a problem. And you can see the different options you have here, what's going on. I mean, definitely looks like we need another piece. I might have that out in one of my boxes in the garage. I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side for sure. Based on the comps here, you have that other piece. It's definitely going to be worth a little bit more. So we'll go ahead and we'll try the teapot now and see what happens. Let's pull translate back up. All right, here's translate. We're going to go back to image. I've got my teapot right here. Again, there's that first word. It's going to be China. Once again, just know it. I recognize it. Let's see what this says. And it didn't pull in China, but that says China. Here's, hey, exact same one again. So it's probably part of a set. If not, somebody just, I'm sure I got that together in a lot. Let's hear it again. Jingdezhen. So now I use this to go ahead and search into teapots, see what I can find. I mean, you guys get the idea. It's a really useful tool to have in your tool belt. You know, hopefully you're able to take what you've gotten from this and apply it to your reselling game. If you liked the video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as visit our Facebook group page at Vintage Thrifter Resellers for more great information and tips on vintage and antique reselling.